as directors, what are some ways we can advocate for the profession?
Well, going back to the babysitter, I think that's the biggest issue is, and a lot of parents, that's all they want is a babysitter. But then you have the other parents who want their children to learn. And it is very important to inform the community, the parents, that we are not babysitters. We have to have education. We have to follow a daily schedule. We have paperwork that has to, and record keeping that has to be done.
Building up that professionalism, building up our staff, talking to people about the importance. I can't stress enough how important I think it is to educate everybody, parents, friends, staff, just to reinforce the significance of what we're doing and the brain development in those first few years.
Know who your senators and your representatives are at the state level, and don't be afraid to have a voice and write letters, and on a more local perspective, be part of organizations that want to advocate for early childhood, like the ECI committee here in Brevard. So I think it's important to be part of that.
And being part of those organizations, NAYC is another one that will always feed you the information that you need to know, and also even will write out letters so that you can just kind of copy the letters and sign your name and those kind of things. So
the NCAYC is just a wonderful organization, and I was on their board for a while and loved it. They're just very inspiring and enthusiastic, and really support early childhood education. I hope to help parents learn to advocate for their children, help the teachers advocate for that, but because it is a big need for their rights.
So what have you found extremely helpful in your personal, professional development for yourself?
School is the first thing that comes to mind, and I don't know if that answers your question, but being in school for me has helped me stay on top of the most recent research. It has helped me connect with other people in the profession.
I have really tried to reach out there to find professional development, because when you get with a group of other directors, and they will give you different kinds of ideas.
Staying abreast of current topics, of current legislation that's going on, things that are happening to try to professionalize the field. There's a lot going on. And so I think staying in communication with other people, staying abreast of what's happening, constantly learning and growing and continuing in education, I think is key.
I've presented at conferences. I love to do it, and a lot of the stuff I do at Children and Family Resource Center. I run the professional infant and toddler professional development there, and I've done things with music, how music inspires infants and toddlers, how you can use music in the curriculum with the teachers, and how important that is, and of course the natural outdoor environment.
So you finished your associate's degree here at Blue Ridge.
This is true.
And now you're going on for your bachelor's degree at
UNCG, so University of North Carolina, Greensboro, their online program. It's a 2+ program, which is great, and it's very simple. The plan of study is fantastic, and you can really go at your own pace.
When I first started, I was just going to take the credential class. I was looking for something to do. I was happy. I knew that I was providing a good service to families, and I was happy doing what I was doing. And I thought, well, maybe I'll go take a class. And so I came, and by the time I left here that day, I had registered for the associate's degree. And I remember getting in my car thinking, I've got kids, I've got a family, I've got this business, I've got a husband. My husband travels. I'm home by myself. I've got 2 acres to cut. Why did I do this? But the more I did it, I loved it. And the more I did, the more I wanted to do. And so I knew when I finished my associates that I wanted to go on and get a bachelor's. So, at that time I was hooked and I was enjoying it, and I realized the importance of it, and I realized how much better I was in the classroom because of what I was learning. And I was able to take what I learned and apply it into the classroom, and then branch out further and further. So it was just a natural progression for me to go from one to the other. And, you know, I don't mind saying I'm 53 and working on my master's degree, and I'm not going to say I'm going to stop there.
What do you think are important leadership qualities or characteristics, behaviors for a director to have? And how do you develop those?
Integrity. You know, you have to do the right thing all the time, whether people are looking or not looking, and be true to your core.
Being positive, having a positive outlook on things. Daily life can get you down. Personally, trying to keep your personal life and your profession separated. It's hard to do.
You have to be a loving and caring and patient. You have to have those qualities to meet the needs of the children, the teachers, the parents.
Just understanding that we take care of little people, and that people are watching us and looking at us and wanting to model whatever behavior we project. So in and out of the community is being professional at all times.
Accountability, honesty, reliability, transparency, I think is very important. I think you have to be resilient. I think you have to be cooperative. I think you have to be willing to listen to other people's point of view. I think you need to be open and flexible, and I think you need to be available.
Being a really attentive listener, and sometimes you don't have all the answers, and whether you can even direct them in the right direction, you might not can, but sometimes just that listening ear and being very observant of that and their feelings and things like that.
When I start my staff meetings, I always start with the good, because everyone has good.
I hope to inspire my staff to be confident in what they do, and by supporting them in all the ways I can.
How can one develop some of these important qualities that is needed in order to be a director or administrator?
Those are not accomplished overnight. Attending classes, researching on the internet, asking Children and Family Resource Center, call some of your other child care centers and ask them how they handle something. You've got to reach out for the resources, and there are many, many resources available for a director. We even have Siri. We can ask her.
Yes, we can. Are there any specific tips you could share with directors about leadership that you wish someone had told you? Or something you have learned?
The part about how other people react to you and how you react to other people, or as far as respecting or how you see other people and how they might see you. But as far as respecting families, the way they believe, their cultures, the way they want to teach their own children, and learning how to adapt that into what you're trying to do with your staff, and how to help your staff develop that too.
I'd want to know it's going to be hard to maintain staff. I'd want to know there's going to be issues with parents. I'd want to know, the challenges that were going to come up, and not just tell me the challenges, but I'd want to know how other people had addressed those and how they had been successful in working through them.
Don't try to be someone that you're not. Be true to your leadership style, whatever style that is. I'm the cartwheel teacher, big heart, and if I try to deviate from that, it doesn't work for me.
I think it'd be great if there were maybe mentors in the field that have agreed, and I know that they do, but it's not a formal thing. But I think that just having that support system and knowing that there are people to go to would be just a really good thing to have.
So there's a directors network here in the area, so that type of networking with other directors
right.
would be extremely
well,
helpful.
It would, but I think for somebody new coming in that might not know that, make sure that they were aware of that.
If you have 50 children, you've got 50 children, and then you've got the staff, but you have 100 parents, you have 200 grandparents. So, and those parents and grandparents are as much involved with their children's education as anyone else. So you have to be ready as a challenge to address all issues with any of the center's involvement that might be involved with it.
So you do have to be very personable.
Very. I am a big advocate for greeting. We make sure every morning that the parents are greeted, the children are greeted. And you know, if you can't remember every parent's name, but you know that child's name. So we always make sure we tell them good morning and have a good afternoon.